it's Karen. I'm just back to share this journal that I have finished. I showed you a sneak peek of this a few weeks ago now, I think it was. And I showed you one of the little tuck spots that I had made in her, and now she's all finished. And I'm really pleased with how she turned out. If you'll remember, I said that I had used two gift bags, one for the cover and one for the back. And they are still, I left them open at the top so I could still slip in a few little goodies inside here and in the one in the back as well. And there's some of the laces and trims you can see on the top. And then there's 3 rings on the side that hold all the pages together for the binding. And then I've tied some laces and ribbons on the side of those so that they're not too visible, but it still allow the pages to be turned. And then because she got a little bit of a gator mouth on her, which happens, and so I just took a piece of this organza with the gold trim on it, and I just tied that onto the middle ring here and again at the back, and I just tied that as a extra tie on to hold her closed a little more. I put gesso on the gift bags so that it kind of toned down the pink and purple in the gift bags, but it still peeks through under the laces and trims. There's quite a bit layered up on the front cover. I have a doily in the background and then another doily that I cut the center out of so that I could use it to trim around this little photo that I purchased. And this is another lace here on the edge. That one's from Craft Supplies for You. And then some flat back pearls over top of this cotton lace on the edge here. Some little flat back resin, little pearly things in the corners in these little applique on the edge of the lace. This is one of my crocheted flowers with a pearl button in the center. And another cotton trim here with a few little flat back pearls. And then again, some of those little appliques at the bottom here, the same as the top with the flat back resin center. This is 2 more crocheted flowers, a rolled rose made out of the cotton lace, and then just a little bit of a 3-petaled flower I made with the edge of a lace trim I had left and a cute little button in the center, and these are buttons in the center of here too. And then just tucked a little piece, a wooden piece here that I painted with gold and a little bit of stickles that says love on it. And then there's a little bit of dangles out the bottom, mostly like laces, trims, and that kind of thing. And just there's little charms hanging off of her as well. This one is a little girl, or could be a little ballerina. Well, I'll just show you the side before I open her up. There's lots of layers of lace and trims on all the pages that show on the edge. And then I've made a few of these little book charms. There's one here that's little pink beads with a pink button. This one is different shades of pink beads with a little silk flower on 2 different silk flowers, one on each side. This is the edge of one of my altered tea bags. I'll show you that when we get inside, but on the edge is the string, and I put some little beads hanging off the string and tied it in a little bow there. And then this is an altered pin, and I just hung some, this is a bead spray that you can get from Craft Supplies for You, and I take it all off the wire and I just use them as beads. I really like them. They're kind of have a really nice cut on them, and they look really pretty for an acrylic piece, these little purple ones. And then I dangled another little bunch of beads and a little bird off the end of that, and I just put a little bling in the corner of that pin, and that just decorates it up a little bit. So let's have a look at the inside. So again, you can see through the bag that I used. You can see it more when I take out this journaling card that I put in here. I did gesso it so you would be able to write on there as well. And this is a pocket. It's made from the flap on the bag. So it's not very deep pocket, but it appears deeper because of the way that I decorated it. I got this beautiful part of this doily, and then I did another little piece of doily on top of that, and then I did a little collage on here with a pink rolled rose, say that fast 3 times, and some little paper flowers, a little bow I made, another little rolled rose, some beads in the center, and a little butterfly. And then here, and in this lighting, she's looking quite yellow, but she's actually one of these little, it's like a little crystal, and it has different colors depending on where it's directed in the light. And I've made her into a little fairy that I've put there on the bottom. So the crystal is her body, and then she's got a little pearl for her head and little wings in the back, little flower on the top of her head. And then I made journaling cards to go throughout, so this has just got some lace on the top and it fits in there. These are the pages, and I did make all the pages. I glued together 2 or 3 book pages first, and then I glued this lined paper on top, and it's just a simple writing paper type. Actually, it's a children's writing book, and I used that to put on all the pages so that they were lined. And then I've added other embellishments. This is a little flip, and also can work as a tuck in behind. And it's music paper and napkin on there, a little bit of lace. And inside it says it's a girl thing. There's little sayings in here about girls. I have other little journaling cards and tuck spots and that, all with pictures of little girls that I found, little vintage girls that I found in the public domain, and so I made copies of them. A lot of them were more in black and whites with just touches of color, and so this is one here. It has music paper on the back, but you could journal on that. And then this is part of a napkin, and I just glued that on the page there because I liked the little bunnies and the flowers. This is actually sewn on here, and all the journaling cards I did sew on them, and I sewed all the pages are sewn as well on the sewing machine. So she's a little tuck spot. Her dress has a little hint of blue in it, so I'd put a little bit of a ruffle in the bottom here with a hint of blue. Little collage of flowers in the corner, a little piece of heart applique, and then in this pocket I made one of those little torn books. It's just a doily with a little collage on it, and then the pages are just torn and then just stapled in the middle, and it makes a cute little notebook for writing notes on. A little bit of lace on the top, a bit of a trim here on the side. That's actually part of a journaling card. So some of the pages I glued them together and made pockets this way. So, and in them I've slid journaling cards that can be written on either side, and then they have a bit of an edge on them so that they stick out the side of the journal as well. This page, this is part of, has lace over it, but the paper that you can see is a handmade paper that I made. Several videos on YouTube, and I just used little bits of turquoise string and some little purple flowers and blue bits of string and a little bit of loose tea, and you put that all on a page with Mod Podge, and then you put a white napkin over the top of it, just the one piece of the napkins that you peel off anyway and end up throwing it out, and you leave it to dry, and it actually makes a really cool paper. It's hard to see it. I put lace over top of it. It's bumpy and you wouldn't be able to write on it, but it's nice for making tags and that with. A little bit of trim across the top, and on the bottom a little dangle. This one says made with love with some little beads on it, and then one of my little butterflies that I like to make using the flowers and cutting out one of the petals and then making that into a butterfly. This is the page that you saw before. This is that bubbly wrapping stuff, and it sounds very cool, and it has lots of texture to it. I really like it. I made it into a tuck spot. So there's still room here to journal, and then she's actually sewn onto some music paper, but you could journal on the back of that too. Pretty little lace at the top, and again on the side, and then some other little appliques, and on the side of this page is that beaded pin with the little flowers. This page is got this pink trims from Craft Supplies For You, and this is one of those little napkin dresses that a lot of people were making on YouTube, and it's just, again, it's one piece of a napkin, and I chose a napkin that still has a bit of like almost little dots imprinted in it, and you just shape it into a little dress, and you can add lace, and I stamped on it and added a little thing. This is the little waist with a little flower on the top of the dress. And then I put it into the journal here and allowed it so that it could flip back, so you can still journal here. And I just wrote under here, girls can do anything. And it's amazing once you get that folded and you start putting lace and trim on it, and that it actually gets quite sturdy. It doesn't feel like it would rip like you would think it would. Another journaling card with a little girl. This one I've just got it tucked in here, so there's journaling space behind, and the little card fits in this trim on the side with a little tab there. Little butterfly, again made out of a flower, and this has got the dangle pin on the side. Another little journaling card here with this little girl. I used my gelatos, and I just colored in with a little bit of water and gelato, colored in the bow and added a little bling in her bow. And she's got lined paper on the back of hers. Again, she's stitched all the way around on the sewing machine. And these little cards, they could be moved out, taken out, or moved around in the journal. This is the tea bag that I've altered with a collage on it, and a little doily and bow. And inside the little tea bag, the actual tea bag holder, is a little journaling card with a little fairy on it and one of my little butterflies, crocheted butterflies, and it's just blank on the back, and that just slides really easily into that little tea bag. And then behind it is a bookmark, and behind that is another one of these little journaling cards with one of the little girls on it, and again just did a little bit of painting on her bow and added a little piece of thing. And on the back of this one I actually wrote, little girls with dreams become women with vision, and that's just again tucked in there. This page has got a tuck on it, so on the back of here you can tuck into here. This has got one of these little crocheted dresses. I just thought this little dress would look so cute in this journal, so I crocheted one up in pink crochet cotton, put a little bow on the waist, and added a little necklace of beads at the neckline, and that's just glued onto there. And this flips up, so there's journaling room there and journaling room on the paper below. This one also stitched around the edge, a little journaling card in behind her, and there's a little piece of that paper that I made that I was talking about that has the tea and the little strings and the little flower, and then over the whole top is the one piece of that layer of napkin, and that holds it all down. And so it's bumpy and textured, but depending on what you use to use on your paper, you can get quite a few different looks. This little girl has a bit of turquoise in her dress. I just put a little piece of turquoise trim on the bottom. That's from Craft Supplies For You. And this is a pocket again with a journaling card in it. There's a little bit more of that paper at the top of the journaling card. And it's double-sided, so you can journal on either side. This page is a napkin glued on and a little butterfly, and then it flips up, so there's lots of journaling space in there. This one is one of these folded, how you fold a paper napkin. You fold it like up and then in, so you get all these little pockets that form, and you put it on the edge of the page so that you have pockets on either side. So in this first little pocket here that's formed, I have just a little tag. Behind, if I can get that out of there, it becomes a flip on the page, so you also have pockets at the back here too. I didn't put anything in these ones, but you could. And in the back of this one is a larger tag or journaling spot that has just a little collage, little crochet frame around a little fairy with lilacs, and I used a bit of the lilac from the napkin at the top and one of my beaded butterflies. And then in this one is another little journaling card sewn around the edges and lined on, onto lined paper. So that goes in there. And then on, whoops, missed a page. This one is the other side of that doily that's attached onto the edge of the page, and this one has some journaling cards in it that I've made with a music paper, washi tape, and some stickers and a little bit of lace trim. And then in behind that I made a wax paper envelope that's all stitched around the sides with, you can see the pink stitching there. And then I added a little sticker, little piece of lace, and inside I just made a little journaling card with some music paper and put a little bit of napkin on it, and that's a washi tape that's around the edge. And so that all sits in there, and that little paper clip kind of stabilizes it a bit. This little girl, she's so cute. I just couldn't stand it. Put her in the back with this. I just decorated up all the flowers in her hair by putting a bit of pink, couple of different colors of pink Nouveau drops and stickles and a little bit of green acrylic paint. And then I stickled part of her dress, and I just like, oh my goodness, can't stand it how cute she is. And this is a flip out, and there's journaling space here and on here, and then I made like a writing pad. This is a vintage napkin that I was given, and so I used that in the corner and a little bit there on the edge of that piece of paper so that you would have more journaling space. And again, just to kind of stabilize it and hold it in place, I have this paper clip that has a little dang crystal on hanging off the bottom of it as well. And nearing the end, blank piece with just some lace trims, and this is a little tag that's on a ball pin that's in here and has a little fairy and some collaging on it and butterfly. And I've adjusted it on the back of the book page so that it could be, you can write on it. Could be like some hidden journaling space. And then of course there's journaling space all on the back. And this is the back page that is made from the other gift bag. And I put a beautiful old vintage doily on here and made a flower with some lace, and then a crocheted flower that I made myself with a pearl center. Laces on the top and bottom, a little bit of lace underneath. And this is another journaling card in here. And then the very back is the other image. Cute little girl with a little bird. And this I just used a vintage doily that I had cut the center out of, and I used the rest of it to outline this little girl and another larger doily on the back. And then in the corner here, I've done one of my, just a gathered cotton trim, and this is a different gathered cotton trim, and this is one of my crochet flowers with one of the little loopy flowers from Craft Supplies For You in the center. And then the doily hangs down and the lace hangs down a bit, and there's a little heart crystal hanging off the bottom of there. So that is my journal. I think she turned out really cute, and I'm really pleased with how she turned out. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I will put some pictures at the end, some close-ups, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.